If you've been on YouTube in the past 6 months, there's a good chance you've seen this guy floating around. This is the dealer from the game Buckshot Roulette. Buckshot Roulette is a game of Russian roulette played with a shotgun and a dealer. Using luck and cheating with items that are given to you in later rounds, you can decide to point the shotgun at either yourself or the dealer. The game became wildly popular a few months back, but I'm not here to make a video about Buckshot Roulette. No, I'm here to make a video about another game made by the same man. Buckshot Roulette was released on December 28, 2023. 5 months prior, the developer, Mike Klubnica, released a project of 5 short horror games, named UNSORTED HORROR. The game's description reads, "UNSORTED HORROR is a collection of 5 short first-person horror games that revolve around detailed machinery in a dark dystopian setting." It also mentions its short runtime, with each game lasting about 10 to 15 minutes each. The first game is The Other Side, a game where you need to drill through a metal wall. However, your drill is ancient and requires repairs after its constant breakdowns. You have a computer to analyze the drill to figure out what's actually wrong with it when it breaks down. After repairing it enough times to make your way all the way around the wall, the computer informs you that you've only drilled through the first layer, and asks you if you want to continue. However, there's no going back. It then asks you to confirm by pressing the keyboard 5 times to fully ensure this is what you want to do. Shortly after confirming, the drill begins again, but almost just as quickly, you lose power to the whole building. When the lights come back on, they appear much dimmer and a warning appears letting you know that you only have 5 minutes until security arrives. The game works exactly the same, it's just harder to see and a clock counting down to your certain demise. you're met with a beautiful horizon and an open field. You've done it. You can turn around and look at the building you've just escaped from and how massive the entire complex is. You can walk far out into the field until you reach a lone tree, on the back of which reads a note. The music shifts, and as over the horizon, an unrecognizable black mass begins to rise. As it gets closer, you begin to see its spider or octopus-like tentacles, and you begin to get a scale of two things: how fast it is, and how slow you are. There is another ending to this game. If you fail to cut through the door before the 5 minutes timer, a screen simply reads, "Nobody can leave. It's for the safety of the shelter." The whole time, the shelter was protecting you from the outside, but we decided to rebel. The next game I want to talk about is Control Room Alpha. The shortest of the 5 games, Control Room Alpha is a game where you're working in a research lab and you must extract samples from a pit. And hopefully, you didn't lie on your resume about being afraid of spiders. The game involves you controlling a crane to retrieve samples from a nest of spiders and putting them into a container. Your guide informs you to be careful, as each tube is worth over 1 million Vietnamese dong, or just under $40 US. However, during the second time, your crane breaks, and you drop the test tube. You then have to exit your safe room and walk out onto the floor. You must put the test tube in the holder yourself. After doing so, you enter back in the room, and the game ends. The third game is Carbon Steel. Carbon Steel is a game about conducting unethical research in an underground laboratory. The game starts out with just 2 voice lines. You then enter on a tram whose driver appears almost non-human. His lack of polygons but still human resemblance, along with his lack of voice lines, makes him unnerving and uncanny for me. He feels just like a gear in the overall system. He feels inhuman. After staring into the camera to be Face ID'd, you enter into a room with a computer in the front and some other machines in the back. You sit down at your computer and open an email you have in your inbox.
Greetings from the research team. You will be carrying out the main sample pull from the pit, which hosts a multitude of pressure-breathing organisms. After the pull is successfully completed, you will hand that over to the team. As we discussed, the job will take a total of 3 days. We are still in the middle of setting up some equipment. Please enter your holding cell.
You then enter your room, referred to as the holding cell, and you go to bed. As you dream of blue skies, you're welcomed into just another day in the office.
Good morning. We are ready to begin. Raise the liqueform vessel with the main control level and it will automatically surface. You will find black data cells in the canister rack, along with empty anesthesia canisters. The liqueform must be unconscious for the duration of the data pull. Procure the curing mixture using the subclass with data tables. Please begin. We are eager to get started.
To the left of the computer is a carrier vessel console and 4 floppy disks, all labeled with different classes. Walking to the back of the room, you're met with another carrier vessel console, a lever, and a monitor with a logo on the top. This logo is actually the same logo that appears on a piece of paper on your desk in Control Room Alpha, connecting at least these 2 games in the same universe. After holding down the lever, a metal cage will begin to surface with a creature from the depths trapped inside. The carrier vessel will tell you all the information you need to know about it, mainly the class and the weight. You run over to your computer and enter in the appropriate floppy disk for the class. The contents of the disk tell you how much of the 3 different chemicals you need to make an anesthetic. The measurements have to be deadly precise. If you're off by a single number, After finishing the anesthesia and dispensing it into the cage, the creature has been put to sleep. You then must pull a sample tube from the wall and extract a sample from it. You take the sample and send it to the scientists through a hole in the wall. You then enter back into your holding cell, and you go to bed. A common theme throughout these games is a lack of human interaction. The tram driver, the faceless scientist, even the security on the other side. The closest we've gotten to an actual person was the voice guide in Control Room Alpha. All other voice lines in this game were made using SAM, or Software Automated Mouth. You know, the funny voice thing from Faith the Unholy Trinity. This lack of human interaction could also be a part of why these games have this heavy anti-organization goal. We are working to break the system and escape the bigger faceless corporation. However, in a game we'll see later, we will actually be the ones working as a part of the system. Once you wake up, you enter your room and the monster has broken free. There's nothing you can do. It was all just a dream. At least, for now. You walk over to your computer and check your email again. It reads,
"Your work yesterday was excellent. The data you pulled far exceeded our expectations, especially considering the fact this laboratory hasn't been used in decades. The engineer has finished setting up the old surface analyzer. You can use it to pinpoint exact glass measurements from otherwise unknown life forms. This will aid us in gathering even better data. If your work continues at this pace, then we have big plans for you."
As you pull the next creature from the depths, you may notice that the console does not include the creature's subclass, which is where a new mechanic comes in, the Surface Analyzer. The Surface Analyzer is able to be shot directly into the hull of the capsule to collect data. There's something terrifying about this moment, just a standoff between you and this unknown monster. The only thing between you and the monster being a small hole. Entering the device back into its holder will present the data on the screen. After solving some puzzles, it reveals the subclass. After that, the rest is completely the same. Figure out the formula, inject it, extract the sample, and go to bed. Day 3 introduces another unique mechanic, the accelerator. The accelerator acts as a way to reinforce a steel cage, as the creature you're going to pull up is far more dangerous than all the previous ones. The game has now become kind of a juggling act, going back and forth from doing the puzzles, reinforcing the cage, finding the formula, making the formula, deploying it. Afterwards, you extract the sample and send it through. After you send it, you receive another email.
We just finished reviewing the final Nateboarding. Indeed, your work has proven to us that the risk is justified by the benefits. Excellent work. However, compared to ourselves, the reforms we have previously stood on are significantly less advanced. We believe that a human body would yield far more interesting results. You will have the honor of being the first pressure-rated human. Please remain seated.
Your taste unconscious. When you wake up, you find that you are now the creature locked inside the cage. An unseen scientist puts an anesthetic into the machine, and you're put under. And the game ends. There's actually a second ending to this game, however. In day 2, whenever you pull out the Surface Analyzer for the first time, you may have noticed a black floppy disk that falls out. If you load the disk into the computer, it reads,
Read carefully. The contents of this disk will be erased once ejected. We haven't met yet, but I'm the engineer. I overhear the conversation from the researchers. You were in trouble. I'm working on getting you out. I've taken one of the capsules. You will find it tomorrow marked with an anchor. Give it to the researchers once you are done. I won't hang around for long. It's either tomorrow or never. See you soon.
Heed the warnings of the email carefully, because if you do eject the floppy disk, all of its contents will actually be erased. On day 3, the anesthesia has been deployed. You need to grab the tube that's marked with the X and pull the sample with it. After you send it through, The fourth game is my personal favorite. This is Concrete Trimmer.
I am starving. What do you see from your room? What do you see? All I see is a wall. You know someone picked the roof and rats, right? Really? Yes. So, where are we? I have no idea.
As you find your way to a rooftop, you hear a helicopter overhead.
Two players on the roof. Permission to open fire? Negative. What if they jump ship? It won't be unfair. They are going to die everywhere.
You're sat at a desk while a phone rings. There's nothing else to do here. The phone will ring forever until you eventually pick it up.
The rules are simple. 100 cells, 25 buildings, 5 shots per turn. 5 consecutive decisions via opponent to phone call. First one to enable the opponent's building wins.
After your opponent explains the rules, you look down at your board. You are not the first person to be playing this game, and you will likely not be the last. In this weird dystopian world, you're forced to play the most messed up game of Battleship ever played, using detonators to take out housing complexes. Even in a game where you're the organization destroying people's lives, you're still disconnected from it, as you don't see any of the buildings that you destroy. You barely even hear them. All you see is a simple X on your board. Your opponent seems to know where every single one of your buildings are, hitting all 5 shots each time. However, your opponent is scripted to miss every shot at least one time, granting you a phone call.
Complete this. I am connecting you to one of the opponent's tenants. Who is this? Hello, I am from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. I am terribly sorry. It seems there has been a mix-up. You are not supposed to be here. You will be evacuated. Oh my god, really? Yes. I just need to know which building you were in. It's building. Please, thanks.
You take advantage of this woman's situation and the desperation that comes with it. You tell her you're from OSHA, an organization which focuses on workplace safety. You gain her trust easily, and you use that information to know which building to bomb next. Unfortunately, even with the help, your opponent is just too good at their job. and they eventually take out all of your buildings. You then receive another phone call with a simple message. There's only one option left. The only thing you can interact with on the screen is a drawer in your desk. Inside sits a single handgun, and the game ends. An interesting aspect of this game is that no matter how many times you play, your opponent's location never changes. Meaning, with some good memory or writing down the locations, you can actually beat your opponent, in which you receive a different phone call. Afterwards, you're still only left with one option: to grab the gun and turn it on yourself. There is no winner in a game like this. The game's description even tells you there is one and only one ending. The last game I'll be talking about is Tartarus Engine. Despite being one of the shortest games, it stands as one of my personal favorites in the series. The word Tartarus being used in Greek mythology as the infernal region, or basically the underworld.
The correct will almost cascade the engine in itself. After multiple layers, 1 second on Earth will translate to years in our simulation. And we can leave whenever we want to, right? Of course. Harper, what's the time? 46. We're cutting it close, but we should have enough time. Steve is going to blow the power at midnight. Once the engine automatically reboots, the inmates will be thrown into stasis. It should give us maximum power output, hopefully. Circuitry floor. Boys, we're the three of you ordered it. Controller, sir. And what is it? Maintenance check. And the device. It's a hard drive. You don't have literally picked any name other than hard drive. Go down to the lower level and insert the rectal partition level. Meanwhile, we'll get everything set up here and keep it short. You don't have much time.
This game features the most amount of human interaction in any game, while in others, anytime we'd see a person, they were mainly just a mess of jagged polygons. Here we have somewhat human-looking people with dialogue and personalities. It also features one of the only moments of comedy when the worker is asked about what device he has.
It's a hard drive.
The Tartarus engine is described as a supercomputer which simulates eternal torment, and that it can feel like years have gone by in the simulation when in reality, only a few seconds have passed. Now you, along with a few more workers, have devised a plan to hack into it. After exiting the elevator with the hard drive, you look at the map to go to the partition input maintenance access, where you will find a tram. The tram reveals exactly what the Tartarus engine actually is. A massive supercomputer that runs for miles. It only makes you wonder more why such a big and advanced computer is used for nothing more than a virtual prison. The tram takes you out to partition 11, where you need to unscrew the maintenance panel, insert the hard drive, and replace the rack before midnight. The time is 12:01 and the power has been pulled. Restarting the system with the new code for the drive. It's here where we get our first actual look at the Tartarus engine.
Harper, we are about to calibrate the device in a moment. There isn't much time left. Strap yourself in. I've almost got everything set up. Which preset are you running? The one where you peel potatoes? Splendid. Don't worry, it's just for a moment. I'll pull you out as soon as I get them in already. Alright, see you in a bit. I don't understand. They managed to translate the nature of consciousness into mathematics and recreate it in a digital interface, yet they use it for this. What even is this?
The grim reality of the engine sits in once you're sent into one of the imprisonment simulations. A room where you just sit and peel potatoes and send them through the other hole in the wall. But before you can even make sense of it all, you're brought back into reality. A sweet relief.
I'm setting up the cascade preset now. Warping in 30 seconds.
After running the new code, it's revealed at the last second that the code was not written, but rather found randomly. That, along with the worker forgetting to disable a feature, the 3 men were doomed.
How long did it take you to write the code? I did not write it, I found it. Did it work? Shit, it said, right where each form keyboard. Why, I can't move. I forgot to disable the automatic. It's spelling us out. It's spelling us out layer by layer. What the hell did you...
The Tartarus engine pulls all 3 of them through its code, layer by layer, infinitely, with nobody there to pull them out. And yet, another act of rebelling against an evil corporation of power. The acts are flawed, and the perpetrators are punished. And that concludes Unsorted Horror. 5 short horror games based in a dystopia, mainly featuring characters rebelling against an authority and paying the price for it. The only time we get to see a happy ending in any of these games is the engineer ending in Carbon Steel. And still, we don't get to see what happens after the tram ride, or where they go. Unsorted Horror seems to be a compilation of games set in a universe where some people have the human nature to rebel against authority, but unfortunately, it just never works out. Mike Klubnica is an incredible game developer, and I definitely recommend checking out some of his other games. A great starting point, Buckshot Roulette, which I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I want to thank everyone for watching, and if you'd like to see more horror content like this on my channel, please let me know in the comments below. My name is Nateboarding, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.